Okay, let's dive right into this fascinating digital battlefield. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, fundamental shift happening in tech right this very minute, an era we're calling the AI dominance war of 2026. Look, if you've been paying any attention to this space, you already know we are way past the days of those clunky, simple text generators. We're dealing with absolute titans now. Massive, interconnected systems that are totally rewriting the rules of how work actually gets done. And today, we're going to break down exactly who is leading the charge, what they're actually good at, and most importantly, how you can leverage them.
Just take a second and let this quote really sink in. In 2026, artificial intelligence is no longer competing with humans, it's competing with itself. Think about the sheer weight of that. The stakes are incredibly high now because we've officially crossed the threshold. The whole man versus machine narrative, that's old news. Right now, we're watching a rapid-fire, heavyweight clash between the core models themselves, specifically ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. They are literally racing to become the foundational infrastructure for everything we do.
And that brings us to the absolutely critical question you need to be asking yourself right now. Which AI operating system is going to run your business? Seriously, chew on that for a moment, because choosing an AI, it's not a casual preference anymore. It's not about which interface has the nicest dark mode. It is a make or break business strategy. Picking the wrong AI system today is exactly like installing the wrong operating system for your entire company. It totally dictates your speed, your output, and honestly, your competitive edge.
So let's take a look at the AI battlefield, moving from those early chatbots into full-blown workflows.
We're stepping out of the hype cycle and into the new reality. We are in an era where AI doesn't just help out with a quick task. It's acting as a complete operating system, replacing end-to-end workflows for freelancers, boutique agencies, and giant enterprise corporations alike. We're seeing automation scaling at a frankly unprecedented rate, applying really deep intelligence to incredibly complex problems. This isn't just a sidekick anymore. It's core productivity. We're actively entering a replacement economy. These models are writing complex code, building businesses from scratch, and totally replacing legacy search engines and those manual, soul-crushing repetitive tasks.
Now let's get into the fun stuff, the head-to-head tests and the tournament showdown.
We analyze these heavyweights exactly how professionals are actually using them in the wild, and when you push them to their absolute limits, it's wild how differently they behave. We ran rigorous tests across creativity, coding, and deep research. When we dialed up the creativity, Claude didn't just write some basic copy. It crafted these incredibly rich, story-driven, emotional narratives. It literally built entire worlds. ChatGPT, on the other hand, was super focused, cranking out incredibly usable, snappy marketing campaigns ready for a general audience. And Gemini? It approached creativity like an engineer, building highly structured branding systems and market positioning frameworks. It's fascinating, right? Claude builds the emotional narrative, ChatGPT builds the usable campaign, and Gemini builds the structured system.
Next, we moved into the deep reasoning round. We really wanted to see how their analytical brains would tackle a highly complex, massive stakes economic scenario. So we threw this prompt at them. If AI replaces 30% of jobs, what happens to the economy? Now, this isn't some quick trivia fact you can scrape from a wiki page. This requires deep logic, extrapolation, and a serious grasp of macroeconomics. 30%. Before we even look at their answers, just anchor on that massive number for a second. Think about the real-world impact of a 30% shift. We deliberately chose that specific, heavy data point to see if the models would glitch out, panic, hallucinate, or actually give us a coherent, high-level analysis of a society-altering event.
Well, the results were incredibly telling about their core programming. Claude dove in with this intense philosophical and ethical depth, unpacking all the complex societal layers. Gemini went full boardroom mode, intensely data-driven, highly structured, literally like a senior analyst presenting to a CEO. And ChatGPT, it delivered a highly balanced, super easily communicative explanation that anyone could understand. So, boiled down, Claude thinks like a philosopher, Gemini thinks like an analyst, and ChatGPT thinks like a communicator.
But hey, raw brain power isn't the whole picture. We also ran them through a strict speed and stability index. And here, Gemini absolutely crushes it on raw speed, firing off outputs in the blink of an eye. ChatGPT takes the gold medal for being the most stable and consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get. Claude, it gives you the most breathtakingly detailed responses, but it is noticeably slower to generate. So the key takeaway here is this.
Gemini might win the foot race, but speed without ChatGPT's rock-solid reliability is practically useless in a fast-paced business environment. You absolutely need consistency just as much as velocity.
All right, let's take this out of the lab and into real-world applications to move beyond the hype.
It is completely crucial to ground these results in reality, looking at how actual businesses are applying these distinct strengths every single day. Take a marketing agency, for example. They're using ChatGPT to blast out ad copy and content pipelines, but they switch to Claude when they need to draft dense, multi-page client strategy documents. Then they use Gemini to weave SEO and live search data straight into the mix. What about a scrappy SaaS startup? They use ChatGPT to code their front-end MVP fast, Claude to design the deep, complex system architecture, and Gemini to run the back-end data analytics. Even a solo freelancer uses ChatGPT as a snappy daily assistant, Claude for deep writing, and Gemini to tie their whole Google workspace together. The big takeaway here? The best AI depends entirely on the exact job you're doing, not on whoever has the flashiest marketing on social media.
But look, we've got to keep this explainer totally impartial and fair. None of these tools are flawless. Acknowledging exactly where they break down and glitch is how you bulletproof your business. ChatGPT, for all its reliability, still carries an occasional hallucination risk, especially when you give it highly complex, multi-step tasks. Claude, as amazing as it is, gets bogged down and noticeably sluggish under high-load, rapid-fire workflows. And Gemini? Super fast, deeply integrated, but it definitely suffers from inconsistent creativity when you need genuine out-of-the-box thinking. You have to know these blind spots.
Which brings us to the real twist of this whole thing, the hybrid strategy. Now this is a total game changer. The ultimate twist in this dominance war is that the absolute smartest users, the ones scaling their output to the moon, they aren't picking a single winner at all. Let me walk you through this incredibly actionable sequential hybrid workflow. Instead of forcing one AI to do everything, you merge all three into one absolute superbrain. Step 1. Claude is your thinking engine. Feed it the raw data and let it map out the deep strategy and complex architecture. Step 2. Take Claude's genius plan and drop it into ChatGPT, your execution engine. It takes that complex thought and churns out the stable code and usable assets. Finally, Step 3. Bring in Gemini as your integration engine to instantly connect those assets into your live ecosystem and search data. You are literally combining the philosopher, the communicator, and the analyst into one unstoppable machine.
So where is this all heading? Let's look at the future horizon and autonomous agents. If you think what we just talked about is impressive, just wait. The next phase of this war is mind-bending, and spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with typing into a chatbot. We are rapidly moving from humans using AI tools to humans managing entire AI teams. We're going to see full automation startups, companies built from day one with AI employees instead of human ones, running zero human workflows in data-heavy industries. Just imagine a business essentially running itself, analyzing the market, generating the product, and closing the sales, all driven by these interconnected systems working together in the background.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this core realization. There is no king of AI, because the real power is in how you use them. The future doesn't belong to whatever tech giant wins the benchmark war this week. The future belongs entirely to the person who masters all of these tools, who knows exactly how to blend the deep thinking of Claude, the execution of ChatGPT, and the integration of Gemini into a seamless system. Honestly, relying on just one is a guaranteed recipe for getting left behind.
And finally, keep this in mind. AI is not competition, it is collaboration. This whole digital battlefield, it is not something to be afraid of. It's the most powerful partnership you could possibly ask for, just waiting to be utilized. The tools are right here, they have incredibly distinct superpowers, and they are ready to get to work. So, as we close out, take a hard look at your own business. This AI dominance war isn't just happening out in Silicon Valley. It's happening right now in your daily operations. So which workflow are you going to restructure first, or are you going to sit back and let your competitors figure it out before you do?